Hey, it's great to be back. This is Lester here from Lester's Expert Watch Reviews, and I want to start by saying that I apologize. I know it has been a long time since I've churned out one of these expert watch reviews, and I just want to kind of apologize to all my subscribers. I know there's a lot of you. It's just been a really, really busy time for me. I have been all over the country giving presentations, sharing my knowledge of watches with groups anywhere from 2 and up to, just had my largest presentation a few weeks ago. It was just under 200 people. So that's what I've been doing, traveling around. It's been quite an experience just to see the number of people that are interested in this wonderful hobby. And I just like to be able to share my expertise with all of these people to make sure they get started off on the right foot when it comes to watches. So that's what I've been doing. That's why I haven't gotten one of these, but it's no excuse. This particular watch just recently got, not too long ago. I was in Manhattan. I just finished up a speech, and the dealer had several Rolexes in his trunk. This was the one that caught my eye. Normally, he told me these are around $9,000, but I worked them hard. I got this for $5,000, so got a real good deal on it, and just want to share it with you. This is the Rolex Justdate 41. It's called the Justdate because if you look, the only complication that it has is just the date. Now, the 41, I believe, has to do with the year it was first introduced to the Rolex line, 1941, and they just kind of stuck with that name ever since. Let's take a look at some measurements real quick. These are obviously rough measurements. All right, let me see, times 20. Let's say about 41 millimeters. So it's a very nicely sized watch. Now I'm gonna see if I can zoom in here, get you a closer look at the dial. There we go. Done in the traditional Rolex motif. You have the 5-finger glove with the thumb and pinky being the same. That's just something, it's a trademark of Rolex. This is the Oyster Perpetual. As we all know, oyster beds are kind of perpetually growing, and I think Rolex kind of wants to give the impression that they're constantly growing. So it's a pretty clever play on words, if you will. And then below that, it says look at that. Okay, so all right, those of you, I don't know if any of you noticed that. I'm just noticing it now. Instead of saying just date, they mixed up the two words and they call it date just. Now that's a misprint. Now, if that's anything like coin collecting, whenever you have a misprint like that on a coin, it makes the value of the coin usually extremely expensive. So I think that probably applies to watches as well. So, wow, that's something you're not going to see often. Here it says super, I don't know what the rest is, but it says chronograph, and then it says, I can make that out, that's officially certified, kind of a gimmick. I mean, seriously, certified to what? To whose standards? Rolex's? You know, I don't even know what that means. Here, let me adjust the camera. Oh, all right, here it says Swiss made. That just means that this watch was made by people of Swiss heritage or a Swiss ethnicity. Not sure what country it's made. I think, I'm going off the top of my head here, so don't quote me on this one. I think these are made either in the United States or Canada. If you take a look though, the hands are very nicely polished silver, and that lends to the fact that they are ammonium plated. When you get the ammonium on them, you can polish them to this nice silver, brilliant luster that you see here on the watch. One of the things I don't like about it is this magnifying glass that Rolex puts on a lot of their watches. It's kind of silly. It's kind of unnecessary. I mean, do you really need a magnifying glass on your watch? Is it that hard to say, take the magnifying glass that you have with you and just look at your watch with your magnifying glass? And even if you don't have it, you can take a picture of your watch with your cell phone and then blow up that picture. And even if your eyes are really bad, I am almost certain 99% of the time, if you do that, you will be able to see the date. So you really don't need a magnifying glass on your watch, but it's something that Rolex does, so what can you do? I did notice a problem with this with the tritium tubes. The tritium tubes in the indices. Tritium, as everyone knows, is supposed to constantly glow. After I purchased this watch, I was in my hotel. It was dark. I decided to go out for a walk. I just put it on. I didn't even notice it at the time, but when I got outside and looked, the tritium tubes were not glowing at all. Right away, my mind started to think something was not right. So I took my phone and I shined it on these tritium tubes, you know, the flashlight of the phone, and sure enough, once I turned that flashlight off, these tubes were glowing. So somehow during the manufacturing process, probably due to poor QC, Rolex put some kind of glow-in-the-dark material instead of tritium tubes, or maybe they put it on the tritium tubes instead of the standard coating that's on the inside of them. I don't know, but definitely not tritium tubes. It's not the end of the world to me. It doesn't really doesn't bother me that much, but it's kind of disappointing. There are a few issues with this particular watch. The crown, I have been trying to pull this. That crown is stuck, and I'm gonna need to, just haven't had enough time, but take some kind of like maybe a screwdriver or something and get it in there and just do some prying to pop that out. I don't know if it was some corrosion or something. Maybe somebody, previous owner, was swimming with it in the ocean and some salt got in there or something, but it's definitely stuck. Take a look at the crown. It does have the 5-finger glove. As you can see, sorry, this won't focus. Okay, 5-finger glove with the line underneath. The line is just for orientation, so you know that is the bottom of the glove. While we're here, let's take a quick look at these screws. They got a line through the middle of them. And when I took my little press to push these screws out, I put the press on that line, which the line is very nice to hold the point of the press securely in the center. But when I would turn it to push them out, the press, the little tip on the press would break. So all of these screws are in there so tight, again, probably like the crown and also the case back. We'll get to that later, but I think they're corroded in there, and I'm gonna have to do some work. I might eventually, I don't know if I have to drill them out or whatever the case may be, but not a huge problem. I can fix that in my garage. You do have this lovely clasp. It is a dual deployment lockable, and it locks just like this. See, it's locked. But you have your Rolex word there, and some scribble. And then over here you have, oh boy, that's kind of hard to see. Looks like a fish missing its tail. Just some decorations that Rolex likes to put on their watches. Now, the case back is a push-on case back, and like I mentioned, I think the previous owner must have not washed it properly or something, because it's stuck on there. So I tried to pry it off, and it's just not prying off. So when I get the time, I'm gonna just kind of use like a screwdriver and just kind of tap it in with a hammer, like just like that. Like if this is it, put it right there, and then tap the back of it gently with a hammer the whole way around, like maybe the way you would if you were trying to open up a paint can that maybe hasn't been opened in a while and the paint kind of adhered to it and made it stick. I think that's all that's going on. Again, I don't think it's the end of the world. It's not a huge problem, but the watch is very comfortable. It keeps good time. This one gains 10 minutes a day, so I guess that's a little high. But you know, I'm never going to be late, which is nice. You know, especially with my hectic schedule. The dial is this nice white color, and it's just a standard watch. What is there to say? It's a Rolex, you know, and for the price, you can't go wrong. Interestingly, I have some friends that have Rolexes, the same ones, and when they felt mine, they said, this feels really light. So we put them on the scales or on the balances, and it turns out mine is 40 grams lighter than theirs. So I don't know how that happened, but I kind of lucked out, I guess. I got one of the lightweight ones, and I am really, really happy about that. The power reserve, I think it's supposed to be around 70 hours or something. This one does like 29 hours is what I've measured. But, you know, I probably just need to, once I get that back off, I'm going to spray some like WD-40 in there just to get it moving. I think it's just from lack of use. Put a good amount of WD-40, and then get that case back on. You know, I'm gonna just turn it left and right, tap it on, that kind of thing, and I think it should be fine. But thank you for watching Lester's Expert Watch Reviews. Please like and subscribe and share this video.